Hey friends, Sean from SGT Report here to tell you exactly why the Democrats are in an absolute panic and to provide the liner notes of the evidence of treason for CNN, who seems unable to do actual investigative journalism. And we do have a new post from Q, April 10th, Panic. And the link to this Fox News report, Barr testifies spying did occur on Trump campaign.
I am going to be reviewing both the genesis and the conduct of intelligence activities directed at the Trump campaign during 2016. I think spying on a political campaign is a big deal. It's a big deal. Yes, I think spying did occur.
It's been amusing in recent days to watch the hacks at CNN attempt to walk back Barr's statements by attempting to dismiss them because he provided no evidence. Trust me, the evidence is coming. And now, with the arrest of Assange, assuredly with his testimony, the proof will be provided that the DNC email leaks did not come from Russian hackers, but rather from a DNC insider, most likely named Seth Rich. Now, my friend Liz Crokin is very excited about the arrest of Assange and believes everything is going according to plan.
If you follow Q, you know that white hats are in control and that he will go through the system and the evidence will come out and he will be cleared and he'll be exonerated. So don't listen to any of the mainstream media, any of these shills calling him, a horrible person or someone that was a threat to national security. No, this man exposed our government trafficking children around the world. He is a freaking hero.
And I did receive an email just a day ago from Jim Willey, who says his contacts tell him that Assange is in safe hands with white hats, not the evil ones. He was taken to keep him safe. He was taken to facilitate the release of information. He will provide summary statements as testimony. His arrest will trigger data dumps. And of course, Trump has disavowed for key reasons. The point is, the truth will come out, and Julian Assange will be providing it. Now, the puzzling thing about CNN and the Mockingbird mainstream media, which includes the Washington Post, also trying to discount Barr's statements, and MSNBC and the New York Times, is that it will be very interesting to watch them try to bury the real news of the real collusion and conspiracy to topple President Donald Trump. Guys, as I play this clip for you from CNN, I want you to keep in mind that CNN, a subsidiary of Time Warner, has estimated annual revenues of $3.2 billion. and 4,000 employees. As you watch this clip, I want you to ask yourself how they can present this narrative with a straight face.
He did say, I think there is a basis for concern with regard to, call it surveillance, call it spying, call it whatever you want. The basis for concern about how the Russia investigation was launched is what he said there, but he wouldn't discuss why.
And that was even a walk back, right? From saying earlier, I think spying did occur, to a basis for concern is a little bit less. But where is he getting it from? I mean, the pattern with Barr is...
Look, he may have evidence, he may have not, but I mean, he's given us a lot of... This is a very serious matter. And it's very confusing what he's trying to say he's even doing.
This is a way for them to just stall things, I think. He needs to collect information. He's going to look at all of this. This keeps this narrative alive for them to say, investigate the investigators while we head toward the 2020 election. It kind of gives them a talking point.
Now, friends, as far as evidence goes, and as far as CNN's journalism goes, with $3.2 billion in estimated annual revenues, why can Dan Bongino do a better job than the 4,000 employees at CNN? Dan Bongino lays out all of the evidence in his book, Spygate. Because as Bongino has reminded us time and time again, the evidence is this. Mike Rogers of the NSA sensed something was very wrong with the about queries that were coming in to the NSA database. And Rogers went to the Foreign Intelligence Court to report the problem. And 10 days after the election of Donald Trump, an election the deep state never thought he would win, Mike Rogers went to visit Trump at Trump Tower. He told no one that he was going. And that 10 days gave the Trump administration just enough time to set up a private skiff in which they could have a private conversation. And the very next day, Trump abandoned Trump Tower. You see, it was the Obama administration that had grown so comfortable with weaponizing the government to target their adversaries that it was the Obama administration itself that likely ordered the spying on the Trump campaign.
This went all the way to the top of the previous administration. This didn't stop at Ben Rhodes or some other low-level underling. Barack Obama knew about this. He authorized it. It was either complicit or implicit in it, and there has to be accountability, and I'm happy Attorney General Barr is digging into this.
Now, the day after the Trump administration abandoned Trump Tower, the very next day, Obama called for the firing of guess who? Mike Rogers. And all of a sudden, as Bongino tells us in his book and many of his presentations, all of a sudden, people in the federal government started resigning, including Bob Hannigan, the head of GCHQ, the British version of the NSA. And CNN reported on April 14th, 2017, that British intelligence passed Trump associates' communications with quote-unquote Russians onto their U.S. counterparts. So Plan A was to spy on the Trump campaign to try to get enough dirt to prevent Trump from ever becoming president. But Plan A was a disaster. And when Plan A blew up, they moved on to Plan B, which was to try to continue to spy on the Trump administration, quote unquote, legally with FISA court approval. But they didn't have a stitch of evidence to submit to the FISA court to get the warrant to spy. So what did they do? They made it up. Enter Christopher Steele and his dodgy dossier. This is something CNN could easily tell you and its viewers simply by reading Bongino's book or by listening to anything Devin Nunes has recently said.
Tell us why this James Baker news is important.
Well, it's very simple. James Baker was the top lawyer at the FBI, reported directly to James Comey. Numerous officials at the DOJ and the FBI have told us under oath that the FBI, nobody at FBI or DOJ knew anything about the Democratic Party being behind the Clinton dirt. Well, now you have one of the top lawyers for the Democrats and the Clinton campaign who was feeding information directly to the top lawyer at the FBI before even the FISA warrant. So now you have absolute proof that that wasn't told to the FISA court. So you want your evidence of FISA abuse? There it is right there. A secret warrant was placed on an American citizen during a political campaign, and yet the FBI did not tell the court that they were getting this information directly from the opponent of that campaign.
Now here's the funny part. The dossier had already been written in April 17th, 2007, according to Dan Bongino. And it was written by, get this, Glenn Simpson and his wife. Yes, Glenn Simpson of Fusion GPS.
Who's the author of this critical Wall Street Journal piece? Glenn Simpson and Mary Jacoby, his wife. Glenn Simpson, the purveyor of Fusion GPS. The article is called, How Lobbyists Help Ex-Soviets Woo Washington. Folks, I dare you to take a moment and read that piece. Put it next to the dossier. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same story. It was written 11 years ago. Glenn Simpson clearly had this information about Russian influence in Washington. He wrote 10 years ago. Read the names in the article. You know who appears in this article? Paul Manafort, all of these players. So what likely happened after Plan A collapses is they say, listen, let's go to the FISA court and do this legally, but we need evidence. We don't have evidence. Don't worry. Hillary Clinton's got a guy at Fusion GPS, says he's got a story to tell. Ladies and gentlemen, Glenn Simpson took his Wall Street Journal piece like it was a movie script, scratched out the names, put Donald Trump's name in there and said, look, do I got a story for you guys? It's all BS. The whole dossier is crap. Read the article. It's a movie script they recycled. It's a fairy tale. It's an Aesop's fable. It's made up. It's a scam. There is not a scintilla of evidence that it's true.
So friends, when President Trump told the world media that he had been spied on and that people who had been doing the spying on his campaign and then on his presidency, on his administration, have committed treason.
Because this was an illegal witch hunt. And everybody knew it, and they knew it too, and they got caught. And what they did was treason.
He's using the correct word. It's not hyperbole. It's not puffery. His enemies, the people behind the Russiagate hoax, the dodgy dossier, which was funded by Hillary Clinton and the DNC, the people who cooked all of this up are actually guilty of sedition and treason. and these are hardcore crimes. Now, the funny part is, as Bongino reminds us, and as I'd like to remind CNN, who seems unclear about what the evidence of this spying is, Plan B fell apart too.
Plan B falls apart because something happens in November. Donald Trump wins. Nobody, I'm telling you, take it to the bank, cash this check, and spend the money. Nobody saw that coming. No one. Everybody thought Hillary Clinton was going to get in. This was all going to go away. They were going to appoint their own Attorney General, probably John Brennan, and this story is never, ever to see the light of day, not in their lifetimes. But make no mistake, they know what they did. They all know what they did. Every single one of them.
As we wrap this up, I think it's fair to warn Democrats and pundits in the Mockingbird mainstream media to be careful what they wish for, because their rallying cry ever since Barr announced he was going to release the Mueller report was to release an unredacted version of the Mueller report. But as Zero Hedge is reporting, it begins. Ex-Obama counsel to be indicted following the Mueller report. Gregory B. Gregg, ex-Obama counsel, indicted on charges related to his work for the Russia-aligned government of Ukraine. Ukraine, a proxy state of the deep state. Friends, this whole thing is blowing up, and for those of you who have written off Q and written off the idea that white hats like Mike Rogers were actually in play to help bring about the exposure of the deep state that we're now seeing, stay tuned, and I might suggest that you take your sarcasm and your cynicism and stick it in your back pocket just for the rest of this year, because things are definitely heating up. The tide has turned, and this is why DC and the Democrats are in a panic. Thanks for watching, and for real news 24/7, visit us at sgtreport.com, and if you follow us on YouTube, please make sure you stay subscribed. God bless.
What has been found during this period of time are the illegal acts of getting this whole phony investigation started. And hopefully that's where people are going now. That's where people are going. And it's very interesting. It was an illegal investigation, Major. It was an illegal investigation. It was started illegally. Everything about it was crooked. Every single thing about it. There were dirty cops. These were bad people. You look at McCabe and Comey, and you look at Lisa and Peter Strzok. These were bad people. And this was an attempted coup. This was an attempted takedown of a president. And we beat them. We beat them. So the Mueller report, when they talk about obstruction, we fight back. And you know why we fight back? Because I knew how illegal this whole thing was. It was a scam. And what I'm most interested in, what I'm most interested in is getting started. Hopefully the Attorney General, he mentioned it yesterday, he's doing a great job getting started on going back to the origins of exactly where this all started. Because this was an illegal witch hunt, and everybody knew it, and they knew it too, and they got caught. And what they did was treason. What they did was terrible. What they did was against our Constitution and everything we stand for. So hopefully that will happen. There is a hunger for that to happen in this country like I have never seen before, including all of the millions of people that voted for me. What they did was disgraceful. There's never been anything like it in the history of our country. Thank you.